Hello, sir. Good evening very much. Hi, very good evening. I'm audible, sir. I think you are also audible. Everything is fine.
Hello, hello.
I,
Am I actually? It's about the YouTube. Am I audible now? Can you just give me a quick thumbs up to check whether I am audible? Where are you checking?
you're audible, sir.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the basic reason of doing this particular session is about lot of apprehensions, lot of anxiety that students are getting. So I thought that we should do a session about that what should be the strategy in the
Recording in
last
progress.
25 days. First of all, if you ask me that what should we do in these 25 days, I have a very simple suggestion for everybody, and that is that please read in these 25 days. The single most important thing that will take you towards your dream rank is if you will not lose focus and if you will study. Okay. I know that there are anxieties that are happening related to the news or the postponements. I will tell you just simple some small points about all this. See, ultimately, I always believe, those who know me, that the things that are not in your hand, you should not be bothered about those. You should only be bothered about the things that are in your hand. And one thing that is surely in your hand is your preparation. There are always two ways to get a good rank. One is you study more than the others, and the second is you make sure that the others are not studying. And these are the two ways, so that you can score better than the others. There are a lot of people who know that they cannot read, so they are trying that you should also not read, so that they are able to match you. The choice is totally yours. If you are sincere about studying, please study, please study for the whatever time that is left. Okay. Now, situation, if you ask me, uh, when it goes towards politics, then it is very difficult to predict on the things that is going to happen. Till the time it remains with academician, till the time it remains with the people who are involved in making these rules, it is easy to predict. But the moment it goes to Supreme Court, the moment it goes to politics, then the thought process does not work, and at that point of time it becomes difficult. If I would have been at your place, if you would have asked me that कि मैं anxious होता, answer is yes, probably, but I would not let my anxiety enter into my studies. I would have studied very hard. Rather, this is a time to take an edge over others, because if you can study at this time, mark my words, you will definitely take an edge over others. Definitely take an edge over others. Okay. Strategy is very simple. Please write as many grand tests as you can. Now, strategy is also dependent on one point, that how much you are scoring at this stage. You could be scoring less than 100, you could be scoring between 100 to 130, you could be scoring between 130 to 150, or you could be scoring above 150. This is the four groups that is in which I am going to divide you, and whatever that I am talking to you, I am talking to you the way what I would have done if I would have been at your place. If I would have been scoring above 150, that means I am in a relatively safe zone. But that does not mean that I need not to improve, because I want to get peak on the day of the exam. As of now, it is 21st of May. What I would have done is, I would have seen that how many errors that I am doing at this stage. If those errors are less than 10, probably I would have tried to read, to do more and more GTs, to identify which questions I could not do, and I would have focused on those, even those which I have not read. But if I would have scored less than 100, then guys, please, my only and the only request to you is, just get a tunnel vision, just get a clear cut tunnel vision, and focus on only and only previous year MCQs. Khatam. Period. If you are scoring less than 100, just focus on previous year topics of all 19 subjects. That's all. If you are scoring between 100 to 130, then means that you have your notes available with you. Please thoroughly read the notes. You can at least get 20 extra question correct at this stage. If you ask me that from 120 will you be able to go to 170, 160 at this point of time, that's not a realistic target. But if you ask me 140, 145 will you be able to touch, answer is yes, that is quite possible, because you are doing these many errors from your notes. So please make sure that you are covering your notes pretty well. The biggest challenge is if you are scoring between 130 to 150 at this stage. So let me give the most problematic question to my dear friend Dr. Praveen. Dr. Praveen, what is your view to the students who are scoring between 130 to 150 at this stage? I know it is the most difficult task, but you are known to handle the difficult tasks. Over to you.
Hi everyone. This is a very tough question. Getting from 130 to 150, I think that you are in a good position because, truly speaking, any score above 130 is a good score, because I actually believe that the main exam is not as tough as the mock exams, and especially when you're giving those GTs of different platforms. The platform also differs in the GT difficulty level. So any score above 130 should really, really motivate you a lot to that you are now into that rank zone. Now, what rank? That's a very difficult prediction. But yes, if you have a score of 130 to 150, it's the right time to ensure that you don't do a silly mistakes. Silly mistake is something like you didn't read the options well. You are not very easily able to exclude the two options. Maybe you didn't read and not true. You didn't see the right images. Maybe you missed a negative history in the entire question. So if you're doing that, that may be pulling you down. Elsewise, any score of 130 to 150 is really very good score, and I'm very sure you'll get a rank of maybe a rank and medical college of your choice. Coming back to how to improve from 130 above, guys, anyone is scoring from above 150, 150 is a very safe score. But I haven't got a lot of students who are telling me, sir, I'm getting more than 150. So that's okay. As sir told, one way of getting a rank is either you study more or you don't allow others to study. So maybe you must be telling your rank as I'm getting 160, 170, but that's not practically true, right? Happening nowadays. But yes, what you must do is, first of all, you must completely avoid your silly mistakes. If you're still not able to rule out the two options, I think now is the time that you must put more attention to that. Secondly, you all have, when reading the notes again and again, you might have all encircled those portion of notes which you thought you'll be basically reading at the last of that exam or the last of few days of your preparation. I think it's the right time to take out those notes, the volatile topics, those volatile marked highlighted points, which you must now read upon to improve your score from 130 to 140 and above. But honestly speaking, anyone who's getting over 130 is a really very decent score right now to get. And exam day is a different day altogether. Who knows? You get a 3 to 4 questions which you know and others don't know, and you are into that zone in which you can get a rank within 1,000. That's it from my side.
Apologies. Sorry for that. Anybody who's scoring above 150, anybody who's scoring above 150 should aim for INI-CT, should do the hard work. INI-CT exam, if you ask me, is very, very simple. Please make sure that the last 4-year topics are on your tips. Last 4-year topics are on your tip. That means 8 papers of previous aims. Open up a previous year MCQ book, whichever is given in the last 8 papers, last 4 years. Just make sure that you are aware about each question, you are aware about each choices. INI-CT is known to pick up a previous year choice and make an MCQ on that. So you need to remember question as well as choices. If somebody asks me, this is the single mantra to crack an INI-CT exam, my experience says over now, it's been more than a decade now, this should happen. Okay. If you are scoring less than 130, your predominant target should be NEET exam. Let's be in a real world. Let's not remain in a pseudo world, because if I'll get a 2500 rank or a 3000 rank in the INI-CT, that is not gonna land me anywhere. So my predominant target should be NEET exam. Okay. All right. If you are scoring less than 130, please focus on your high yielding stuff of your notes. What Dr. Praveen has said, the N circle thing. When I was preparing for my exams, my senior told me few things. First thing was, more number of topic, more close to the exam you can revise, better will be your rank. Remember this statement. More number of topic, more close to the exam you can revise, better will be your rank. That means, and do you know, a lot of time when we speak to the people who have got great rank, 5 rank, 10 rank, do you know what all they say? All of them say, sir, I think we were lucky. And when you ask them why they are lucky, they say, I do not know, sir. Whatever that I have read 5-6 days before the exam, everything was asked in the exam. This is the broad strategy which you have to work upon. So wherever you have underlined the things, whichever things that you think are forgettable should be read as close to the exam as possible. So this is a time to consolidate your material wherever you are thinking that you are forgetting. Today in the morning motivation session, I was talking to the students who have attempted a grand test yesterday, because almost all the platform has given a grand test yesterday. So they were saying, sir, they are still getting confused between Montague and Galeazzi. So if you are getting confused between Montague and Galeazzi, that is not acceptable at this stage. And if you are getting it, please make sure that you are revising it one day before the exam. If you are getting confused between CMV and toxoplasmosis, that is not acceptable. You have to revise it one day before the exam. If you are getting confused between myasthenia gravis and Lambert-Eaton, you have to revise it before the exam. So collect this word, collect this material, and just put it somewhere so that which can revise before the exam. Dr. Praveen, over to you.
I'll take a few questions from here on. A last minute strategy for NICT. That's a optimistic question. First of all, let's understand one fact. It's not only about NEET and NEET. Please understand, you have one more exam which is surely not going to have any changes on the date. That is on 8th of May. So before you even start thinking about something else, at least put your entire effort into the NICT exam, which is on 8th of May. Suppose, NICT is an exam which has AIMS, PGI, JIPMER, and what you can do is at least try to revise all those points which you have not revised completely. Try to prepare for the GED, secondly, because if you at all get to the rank of around 1000 into the NICT, boom, you are an Amazonian, you are a PGI, you are a JIPMER student. So understand one fact, that any time you waste from here onwards, that is really very difficult for all of us.
Dr. Praveen, I want to highlight on a point which lot of students get confused. INI-CT exam is basically for AIMS, PGI, JIPMER and NIMHANS, but please remember, responsibility for conducting the exam lies with All India Institute of Medical Sciences. So the single most important papers that you have to do for that exam is previous year AIMS paper. My experience has been that JIPMER, PGI, NIMHANS paper, there are not too many things that are asked from them. The responsibility of conducting the exam lies with AIMS Delhi, and you have to go with that.
Okay. Now, see, we have a few questions here. No, देखो, if I said I'm getting less than 130, shouldn't we apply for NICT? No, not at all. देखो, the idea is to apply for the NICT in a positive frame of mind. What you must understand is any score that you're getting is bound to get increased in the main exam by at least 10 to 15 number only by your cool head. Just by having a cool head and revising in a better strategized way. Okay. So if you're getting even 120, the main exam can give you a score of 135. If you get a 140, the main exam can give you a score of 155 and plus. Only because if you're cool. The reverse can happen if you're not cool. That means if you keep on thinking about what will happen, exams getting postponed or not, you're not studying right now, you're wasting time out now, pakka. And then you this fact also, you may not like it, but your score will definitely decrease. And even a 1 marks, forget about 4 marks, even a 1 mark decreasing in your main score will pull your rank and may not give you the choice that you want to. So please assure yourself you don't waste any single minute, because every single minute counts now. And whenever you feel that you cannot study, at least socho na ek baar. You have read for the entire year, and only because of someone spreading a rumor everywhere that is going to be postponed, you're not reading. What good is doing it to you? You're only wasting your time while others are reading. Any exam will require only 1,000 deserving candidates throughout India, and they do not need you if you're not studying. They require only 1,000 of those good studying students who are still oriented and still studying right now, while only you and only you are wasting time. So even 1 minute you waste right now, you are pulling yourself away from getting a rank.
Yeah.
You can ask someone who has actually got a rank. Really, guys, it's very difficult, but it requires a lot of perseverance and effort.
And Dr. Praveen, one more point is, see, if a student is scoring less marks, less than 130, guys, please, my request is, please write the NICT even then. Your predominant target of the exam should be NEET PG, but please do write it, because as somebody has written that in normal exams you are very cool, but in the real exam you get anxiety. बच्चे, मेरा एक simple suggestion है, whenever you are writing a grand test also na, write it in an examination atmosphere. Okay, I just want to give you, and actually that was one of the biggest reason of starting Quizzy on the eGurukul app. When I did first Quizzy, you will be surprised to know that in the first Quizzy even I was shivering, because after a lot of time, it's been more than 15 years, I have appeared for an entrance exam, and a Quizzy is like an entrance exam for me, because in a 30 second you have to do the question. I was literally, oh my god, what is happening? And in another 2-3 when I played 2-3 games, then I got control on my thoughts, control on my points. So the whole point that I want to tell you is that more you gonna give exam in an environment, in an examination environment. In the non-COVID time, we used to do a lot of offline tests where we used to simulate the exam, but because of the COVID issues, there are a lot of big challenges. But all that I want to say is, please do write the exam, irrespective of what you are scoring. Please do write the exam. Miracles do happen. Please don't shy away from the exam. You have to write the NICT exam, you have to write the NEET PG exam. There is no doubt about it. Okay, if you have scored 149 in the GT, but you are in a safe zone, it's a pretty decent score. It's a pretty decent score. If you ask me what's a good score, what's a bad score, it is very, very difficult, because everybody has their own priority. A student has a priority that he wants to qualify the exam. That's good enough. A student has a priority that he wants to get a rank in top 100. Then the score aim is different. A student has a priority that you want to get a good government seat. So these priorities differ from student to student. So what is a good score, what is a bad score, that is only dependent on where do you stand and what is your aim and what is your broad aim. Because I also want to tell you one thing is that whatever is your real goal, please go with that. Please go with that, because once you come to our age, you're gonna realize that what matters is get into PG. After that, actually it does not matter. Radiology, medicine, ENT, anatomy does not matter. What matters is how good you are in your subject. So those are the things that matter, but I don't think that's a right point to talk at this time. We have to give our best in the exam, and you will be able to give your best in the exam if you will read. if you will focus on your reading. Please stay focused. As of now, if you ask me, I don't think that the exam should be postponed. But as I told you earlier, once the politics is involved, once the courts are involved, then you cannot predict what is going to happen, because it is dependent on one person then. And what that person is going to take a decision, it is very, very difficult to identify. If you are scoring above 150 or maybe 140 also, you can definitely add first aid in your preparation. But if you are scoring 110, 120, for that matter 190, please don't even look at first aid. Please don't do that. So one size does not fit all. You have to see that. One of a faculty met me few days back, and he was taking some tips how to teach and all. So he told me a very, very interesting thing, and I want to quote that. I will not name the faculty, but I will want to quote that. He said कि बच्चों चलो मुझे बताओ, अगर तुम्हें श्रीलंका का मैप ड्रॉ करना है तो कर लोगे, है ना? If you have to draw the map of Sri Lanka, will you be able to do that? Okay. Now if I tell you, okay, draw a map of Arabian Sea, will you be able to do that? नहीं, कोई नहीं कर पाएगा ना. श्रीलंका का मैप सब कर लेंगे. So the whole idea is that it's a time to consolidate. It's a time to consolidate. उतना पढ़ेंगे जितना हम digest कर पाए. That's all. If you are scoring above 150, that means you have already read that much. You have a capacity to read more. But if you are scoring 100, 90, that means there is still lot that you have to read from your own relative stuff that you have done. Unfortunately, a student who has scoring 80 correct at this time is looking at the strategy of how to get 180. Please, let's come into the real world. That does not happen in 40 days. That does not happen in 20 days. That happens with the hard work of 1 year, 2 year of preparation. Okay, so if you are scoring 80, your decent target should be, what should I do so that I should be able to qualify the exam? And trust me guys, you can do that. You can easily do that if you remain focused without distraction and focus on your studies. That's all. That is what I am gonna say. Dr. Praveen, over to you.
Let's take some questions again, sir. A few questions, sir. I have not done my PYQs till asked by @ medicine. So I'm getting around 7,000 to 9,000. Should I go ahead and revise the notes or PYQs? I believe that if you're getting a rank of 7 to 9K and you're not done PYQs, a better option is to do the PYQs. Okay, it'll really help you more. Harshit N asking, sir, I've got 166 in the Marrow NEET mock, and together we can GTs of Gurukul. I always am around 20 below, but in Marrow the rank has to 2K. I am very anxious. That's all completely okay, Harshit, because your progress will always go up and down. This up and down is a true fact for any exam. Even if you give the same exam after some time, your score can decrease. So don't get a lot of anxiousness just because your score is dipping a bit. What must actually motivate you is you're still actually giving an exam in the exam atmosphere. You're able to read the complete question, not doing a lot of silly mistakes. So don't worry about this up and down that can happen. Ashwini Nayak asking, sir, please guys about any news or NEET postponed chhod do yaar. That is a different game.
Okay, so guys, if you are scoring 100 at this time and you are aiming for 120, that's a real target, and that is 100% achievable. Read for 12 to 14 hours in a day, and try that every 12 or 14 hour of session give you one extra question correct. It's such a achievable and a realistic target. Such an achievable and realistic target. Okay, Nikunj, can you please repeat your question, bache? I am missing it. Okay, oh yeah, I got it now. Your average score is 125 to 30. How to improve? So first look at your accuracy level. In your accuracy level, if you are looking at the GT, identify that how many questions are there actually from your notes that you are doing wrong. If it is more than 10, then your major aim is to focus on the notes again. If it is less than 10, that means you have achieved from your notes. Then you have to add, then do GTs, and in those GTs, whichever topic that you have not covered before, try to cover those topics. You might add first aid in your preparation. Okay, that's the simplest advice that I will give it to you. How many revisions are needed to get under 1000? Currently getting 135 plus.
How many revision doesn't mean a lot of things. But the important point is your score must keep on improving, and you must be confident about your notes. If you're confident about the notes, you are confident about giving a GT at the right time. There's some, yeah, that's okay. So if you're confident about the notes that you have revised it at least twice and you remember a lot of things about it, I think that's fine, because many students have read the notes 3 to 5 times and they still are not able to recollect them. It's not the number that is important. What is important that you are how much are you able to retain from the notes. So a notes with a score of around 150 plus should surely give you a rank around 1000 and below. That's no doubt.
There are two questions that I want to take right now. Can I jump from 120 to 150? If you ask me, it is slightly difficult. But is it achievable? Answer is yes. For the next 25 days, just do this promise to yourself that you will eat NEET, you will sleep NEET. And there is nothing else important in your life apart from NEET. Then probably you have a chance to cross 25 extra question correct in your exam. But please remember, eat NEET, sleep NEET, and there should not be anything else apart from NEET. If you are ready for that, you will be able to take that particular jump. Okay, no distraction of any form, social media, friends, family. So सिर्फ पढ़ना है, खाना है, सो जाना है. ये भी नहीं सोचना कि 3 किलो वेट बढ़ गया, कोई बात नहीं, सब हो जाएगा सेटल बाद में. But for the next 25 days, the only thing that should be there in your mind is to study. That's all. Okay. One more question that I want to take is stuck on a particular score. बच्चे क्यों stuck करते हैं? इस चीज को अगर हमें समझ आ जाए ना, if we have understood this particular point that why I am stucking at a particular score, the reason is that I am not able to identify that what is going wrong. If you are stuck at a particular score, there are two broad reasons. Either you have reached to a saturation level of your preparation, or you are repeating the same mistake again and again. Now the two are different. If you are repeating the same mistake again and again, that means you have to change your pattern of writing the exam. But if you think that you are reaching at a saturation level, then you have to add more content to your notes. Okay, usually the students who are stuck below 140 or below 150, they are because they are repeating the same mistakes. And when I say repeating the same mistake, do you know why? What is called as repeating the same mistake? This is a common thing that we teach to the radiology residents as a professor. Ki you have reported a case. Let's say I have reported a case as a neurocystic sarcosis, and I never followed it up that whether it was a neurocystic sarcosis or tuberculoma. Next time when I see that case, I will again label it as neurocystic sarcosis, and I will never come to know whether that was neurocystic sarcosis or tuberculoma. That means I have not followed up onto my case. So stucking at a particular score usually happen with those students who are writing the GT, but that they are not evaluating the GT appropriately. They are not seeing what are the mistakes that they are doing in that GT, why that mistake has happened, and what they should do to improve on that mistake. Is it because of a recall error? Is it because they have not read the question properly? Or is it because they did not have the knowledge? The three have a different reason. The three have a different way to go forward. What is your reason? How you can forward or how you can improve on that is totally your call, and you have to go forward according to that. Try to do this. In these 20 days, you can take a jump of 20 marks. 20 questions, sorry, not marks, 20 questions. Okay? Dr. Praveen.
Dr. Zarana asking, sir, I have jumped from 100 correct to 120 correct after proper revision in the last 2 weeks. Will I be able to make to 160? As sir told, things are possible. And if you can really move to your highlighted notes, previous year questions, and just give GT in a proper way, that is actually achievable. Don't worry about it. Sir, I'm getting around 170 questions plus correct in practice questions. That's you're in a different zone altogether, Manohar. And I really congratulate you. Just don't get overconfident right now. 170 questions plus is really very good score right now. As sir told, try to focus on knowledge enhancement. It could be from first aid, it could be from reading new things from the notes, and maybe reading those 30 questions you have written wrong from either notes, video, or I don't know the chances to take a textbook right now, but if you have ample online, you may do that. Because 170 plus is a really, really very good score.
And Dr. Champ has asked me a question that he is scoring 165 out of 200. बच्चे 165 out of 200 is also a very very decent score. ठीक है, but that depends that it is just out of fluke in one exam you got 165 out of 200 or you are consistently doing above 160. Mark my words, if you are doing consistently above 160, you will get a very very decent rank in the exam, unless you screw your exam on the exam day because of apprehension or anxiety, because ultimately every exam is a one day match. But if you are consistently scoring above 160, you are getting a good rank. Don't pick up an MBA diploma radiology. Definitely don't pick up an MBA diploma radiology. My best wishes to you. I'm very sure that you're gonna get a good rank. But please remember, it should not be a one-off score. It should be a consistent performance above 160 in at least 2-3 GTs over a period of time. Okay, last point that I'm going to take, Dr. Praveen. Once again, every time I think in my videos I've spoken about this, and that is how to avoid negative marking. Guys, I am very very proud to say that I am a very very positive person in the life. Whenever something negative has happened with me in my life, I have always taken it with positivity, because I simply believe on this fact that God balances out everything in the future. Something that is happening is gonna be positive. So simplest way from my side to avoid negative marking is don't look at negative, increase positive. The more positive that you will have, automatically the negative will reduce. Automatically the effect of negative will reduce. है ना? पॉजिटिव को देखो बच्चे, हर पॉजिटिव क्वेश्चन से 4 नंबर मिलेंगे, हर नेगेटिव से 1 कटेगा. तो यानी कि 4 नेगेटिव कम करने की मेहनत करने से बेटर है 1 पॉजिटिव बढ़ाने पर मेहनत करते. ज्यादा आसान है और ज्यादा इफेक्ट यील्ड करेगी. ट्राई टू डू दैट. एटलीस्ट इफ यू वांट टू गेट अ ग्रेट रैंक, please think of increasing positive, not about decreasing negative. Not about decreasing negative, think about positive. Enough to read LMRP. If you want to qualify the exam, LMRP is more than sufficient. There is no doubt about it. I can give it to you in writing, that if you give me this कि सर LMRP में जो लिखा हुआ है, अगर उसमें से पेपर आया तो मैं LMRP में जो पढ़ाया है उसमें से पेपर आया तो मैं ठीक कर दूंगा. I can give it to you in writing that you will qualify the exam without a doubt.
In fact, a few messages that we got, sir, just because the second prof exam, from most of the colleges just got over and the result got declared. They said that 1 month before I had no idea how to read the second prof, and just reading LMRP, I passed the second prof exam.
तो
second prof is career.
तो डॉक्टर प्रवीण वो याद है आपको? See, no matter what we say, फर्स्ट ईयर, सेकंड ईयर, थर्ड ईयर एमबीबीएस आप जितनी मर्जी बुक्स पढ़ लो, बट अल्टीमेटली एग्जाम से पहले तो बायोकेमिस्ट्री में लक्ष्मी आहूजा पढ़नी पड़ेगी, है ना? सो द पॉइंट इज दैट अल्टीमेटली इन द लास्ट टाइम दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट यू पीपल रीड. बट बच्चे, आई कैन से फ्रॉम माय एक्सपीरियंस दैट LMRP वुड बी मोर देन सफिशिएंट फॉर यू टू गेट अ डिसेंट स्कोर. कैन यू टॉप द एग्जाम फ्रॉम LMRP? No. Can you get a rank in top 10, top 20, top 50 with LMRP only? No, that cannot happen. If anybody commits that, if anybody says no, this is my short revision program, do that and you will be able to get a rank in top 50, guys, that does not happen. That does not happen. You all know that, we all know that. But yes, you will be able to get a decent score. You will be definitely able to qualify the exam if you just gonna focus on whatever that is given in LMRP. That I can assure you from my side. And even in these 20 days,
Last thing, also focus on solving for NICT. Don't miss this NICT exam.
Yes, don't miss that.
Don't just keep on focusing on NEET postpone. I don't know what is happening to you all, guys. एक साल पढ़ाई किया है, just because of some rumors going on anywhere, everywhere. You have to start studying. These 3 to 4 days will actually kill you. Don't do this. पढ़ाई करो. Just forget everything else. Okay. Sir, is solving PYQs again good or going to the notes?
100% PYQs have to be read. There is no doubt about it. If you ask me, I will say PYQs से ज्यादा important कुछ भी नहीं है. गर्लफ्रेंड का लव लेटर पढ़ना भी नहीं है अभी तो. PYQ is the single most important point that you have to read at this time. Okay.
This also is very important. Right now, there should be no distraction. Also, with this boyfriend girlfriend story chal raha hai na, keep out of it. Don't spend over say half an hour to talk to her or him.
Okay, last point is how to divide your time between notes and the MCQs. Dr. Praveen, I want you to answer this question and then I'll ask. This is the last question that we are taking for the day, guys.
Sir, please, can you? I was just lost in the boyfriend girlfriend.
Dr. Praveen is recalling his own days. Dr. Praveen, I will tell it to Dr. Meenakshi. I hope she is listening. Okay. All right. So thank God that my wife is not into the teaching, so I can enjoy saying these statements. Okay. All right, guys. So please remember notes and MCQs. Again, see, the beauty is that the first one size does not fit all. How much you are doing the recall error. If you are doing a lot of recall error, if you are not able to recall your notes, you have to give more time to the notes. If you think that you are able to recall majority of your notes, 80 to 90% of your notes, more time should be given to the MCQs. If you ask me, on an average at this stage, it should be 50-50. Half a time to notes, half a time to MCQs, and then decide. More recall error, more time to notes. Less recall error, more time to MCQ. Let's say you are reading 12 hours in a day, 6 hours, 6 hours. Let's say more recall error, 8 hour notes, 4 hour MCQs. Let's say less recall error, 4 hour notes, 8 hour MCQs. That is how you have to train. But keep it 50-50 and accordingly go forward. Okay, guys. So that is all from our side. I want to reiterate once again. NEET INI CET exam is already announced on 8th of May. NEET PG is already announced on 21st of May. We do not have any official confirmation, any official notification of any change of the date. One thing that is in my hand is to study without distraction. मैंने आपको बताया ना, अपनी लाइन को छोटे नहीं होने देना. We have to read with full heart, with full dedication, depending on where do you stand, and I'm sure you will all come out with flying colors. I will pray from the God. I am a strong believer on the God of the God. I believe, I pray that anybody who is sincerely reading, who is honest, should get the rank that he or she is looking for. May God bless you all. Thank you very much for spending time with us on this session. Do let me know, do let us know if we can do anything else for you. We will try our level best to help you out in best possible way we could. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Dr. Praveen.
Bye bye. Thank you.